The first meeting between humans and the wider galaxy did not begin with war, speeches, or celebration. It began with a single mistake on a quiet star map. Lee Voss had trusted the map. She stood alone inside her small observation ship as it drifted through deep space. The vessel was not built for battle or speed. It was built for watching, learning, and recording. That was the way of her people. They believed understanding was stronger than force. Lee herself was chosen carefully. She was calm, intelligent, and patient. Many species in the galactic concord described her kind as beautiful. But that word meant more than appearance. It meant balance of mind and body, respect for life, and control over emotion. Her skin reflected soft silver blue light, and her eyes shifted colors slowly as she observed data screens. Her mission was simple. She was assigned to study trade routes near the outer edge of Concord space. Humans were still new to the galactic stage, and the Concord was curious, but cautious. Lee had already written many reports about Earth. Humans were unpredictable, emotional, and loud, but also creative and stubborn in surprising ways. She had been watching them from a safe distance. The ship's warning system screamed without mercy. Lee barely had time to look up before the entire vessel shook violently. The stars outside twisted and stretched, as if space itself was tearing apart. Gravity failed, throwing her against the wall. Pain flashed through her side as she struggled to stabilize herself. "This region was marked stable," she said quietly, more in disbelief than fear. Energy readings spiked far beyond normal limits. A rare gravitational storm had formed, caused by ancient stellar debris colliding far too close to the trade route. The Concord's data was outdated. Very outdated. The ship tried to jump to folded space, but the drive screamed in protest and shut down. Control panels sparked. Emergency lights flickered on. Lee's training took over. She sealed damaged compartments, rerouted power, and sent out an automated distress signal. It was weak, short, and unstable. But it was all she could manage before the ship was pulled downward. The impact was brutal. Metal screamed as the vessel crashed into the surface of an unknown planet. The ground tore at the hull, spinning the ship before it finally came to a violent stop. Silence followed, broken only by the hiss of damaged systems. Lee lay still for several seconds, breathing slowly. Pain spread across her body, but nothing felt fatal. She activated a medical scan. Minor fractures, severe bruising. Manageable. The ship was not so lucky. Power was almost gone. Long-range communication was destroyed. Environmental systems were failing. The planet's surface scans showed thin atmosphere, violent storms, and unstable magnetic fields. This world was not welcoming. She gathered what supplies she could and exited the ship carefully. The sky above was dark, purple, filled with moving clouds that flashed with distant lightning. Sharp winds cut across broken rock and ash. The ground vibrated softly, as if the planet itself was restless. Lee activated her protective field and set up a small survival shelter near the wreck. She worked in silence, focused, efficient. Fear would not help her now. Days passed. She rationed energy and food, repaired what she could, and sent short distress pulses whenever the storms allowed. Most of them vanished into interference. The Concorde was far away. Even if someone received her signal, rescue would take a long time. She was alone. Despite this, Lee did not panic. Her people believed survival was not about strength alone, but patience. She studied the planet, recording weather patterns and magnetic shifts. At night, she looked up at the unfamiliar stars and wondered if her reports about humans would ever be finished. One day, during a rare calm in the storms, she sent another distress pulse. It was slightly stronger than the others, boosted by a temporary alignment in the planet's magnetic field. She did not know that this pulse escaped the storm. It traveled across empty space, weak but clear, until it reached a listening array, orbiting a gas giant far from Earth. On the human monitoring station, a technician frowned at the screen. "That's not one of ours," he said slowly. The signal was strange. Not hostile. Not random noise. structured, intelligent. Within minutes, the station was filled with people. Scientists, engineers, military officers. The signal was decoded carefully. It did not contain language they recognized, but the meaning was clear enough. A ship was down. A living being was asking for help. Debate started immediately. "The Concorde has rules," one advisor said. "We are not members. Interfering could cause problems. And doing nothing could kill someone," another replied. Humans had only recently stepped into interstellar space. They were still learning the politics of the galaxy, still trying to prove they were not dangerous. But humans were also known for something else. When someone was in trouble, many of them acted first and argued later. "She's alone," the station commander said quietly. "Whoever she is, she didn't attack us. She didn't threaten us. She asked for help." Silence followed. Then the commander nodded. "Prepare a rescue mission." The ship chosen was small but fast. Not a warship. Not a science vessel. Something in between. Engineers worked through the night, modifying systems to handle unknown conditions. Scientists studied the signal again and again, building models of the planet's environment. The crew was made of volunteers. They knew the risks. They went anyway. As the ship launched, leaving Earth's shadow behind, no speeches were made, no flags were waved. It was not about pride or power. It was about one stranded life. Back on the storm-covered planet, Liray felt weaker each day. Power reserves dropped. The storms grew worse. One night, lightning struck dangerously close to her shelter, shaking the ground beneath her. She checked her systems and frowned. Another storm like this could destroy what little protection she had left. She considered sending another distress signal, but energy was low, very low. Still, she sent one more. Then she waited. Hours later, something changed. Her sensors picked up a faint distortion in the sky. Not a storm. Not natural. Her heart beat faster. A shape appeared above the clouds, burning through the atmosphere in controlled descent. It was crude compared to Concorde designs, louder, rougher, but unmistakably artificial. A ship. Liray stepped outside, shielding her eyes from the wind and dust. The vessel hovered unsteadily before landing several hundred meters away. Its engines roared, then fell silent. A ramp lowered. Figures emerged. They were tall, solid, wearing protective suits. Their movements were careful but confident. One of them raised a hand slowly, palm open. Liray did not recognize their species at first. Then she realized. Humans. They had come. Against political risk. Against uncertainty. Against fear. They had come for her. For the first time since the crash, Liray felt something warm spread through her chest. Not relief alone, but something deeper. Hope. And far above, unnoticed by both, distant observers from the galactic Concorde watched the scene unfold, unaware that this simple rescue would change how the galaxy viewed humanity forever. The human rescue team did not rush forward. They moved slowly, carefully, as if every step mattered. Wind pushed dust and ash around them, and the strange sky flashed with distant lightning. Their suits were bulky, and clearly designed for many kinds of danger. Not beauty. To Liray, they looked rough and unfinished compared to Concorde envoys, but there was something steady about them. One of the humans spoke, his voice calm through an external speaker. "We are humans. We received your signal. We are here to help." Liray took a step forward. Her protective field shimmered softly around her body. She raised her hands in a peaceful gesture, copying what she had seen in human recordings. "I am Liray Voss," she replied slowly, choosing simple words. "I am an envoy. My ship is damaged. I cannot leave this planet alone." The humans looked at each other. Even through their helmets, she could sense surprise. This was not a wild creature or unknown life form. This was someone who spoke, thought, and understood. Another human stepped forward, slightly shorter, her voice clear and firm. "I'm Commander Reyes. We will get you out of here." Those words carried weight. Not promise alone, but intent. They escorted Liray toward their ship while two others scanned the area. The storm was getting worse. The ground trembled under their feet, and the air hummed with unstable energy. The human ship looked rough up close. Scratches covered its hull. Repairs were clearly done in a hurry. It was not elegant, but it felt solid. Inside, the ship was loud and warm. Machines hummed constantly. Lights were bright and practical. The air smelled of metal and recycled oxygen. To Liray, it felt strange, but alive. They helped her sit and removed parts of her damaged gear with great care. A human medic scanned her injuries, frowning. "You've been through hell," he said. "You're lucky." Liray tilted her head. Luck had little to do with survival, she answered honestly. Preparation and patience mattered more. The medic smiled behind his visor. "You'll fit right in." Before they could relax, alarms blared. Commander Reyes looked at the display. Storms shifting fast. Worse than predicted, the ship shook as powerful winds slammed into it. Outside, lightning struck the ground again and again, closer each time. Magnetic readings spiked dangerously. "We need to leave now," an engineer shouted. "If we wait any longer, we won't be able to lift." The engines roared to life. The ship struggled, pushing against the violent atmosphere. For a terrifying moment, it felt like the planet itself was trying to hold them down. Then, slowly, painfully, they rose. Liray watched through a small window as the ground fell away. Her shelter, her wrecked ship, the place where she had waited for what felt like an eternity, disappeared beneath the clouds. She was leaving, but the danger was not over. As they climbed higher, the storm followed. The ship shook violently, warning lights flashing red. Systems strained under forces they were never designed to handle. Structural stress at critical levels, the computer warned. Commander Reyes didn't hesitate. "Route all power to shields. Cut non-essential systems. We'll lose life support stability," someone argued. "Do it," Reyes replied. "We won't need it if we're dead." The crew moved fast, hands flying across controls. The ship groaned but held together. Finally, with a violent jolt, they broke through the upper atmosphere and entered open space. Silence followed. For several seconds, no one spoke. Then cheers erupted across the cockpit. Exhausted laughter filled the ship. Liray closed her eyes. Her people valued control of emotion, but she could not stop the wave of relief that washed over her. She was alive. She was safe. The humans set a course away from the planet. Only then did they begin to ask questions. "Who are you really?" one scientist asked gently. "What is the Concord?" Liray explained as simply as she could. The Galactic Concord was a loose alliance of many species, built to prevent large-scale war and uncontrolled expansion. Humans were observed but not yet contacted officially. Many in the Concord feared humanity's speed of growth and emotional nature. "They believe you are dangerous," Liray said honestly. "Not because you are violent, but because you adapt quickly and do not give up easily." Commander Reyes laughed quietly. "That sounds like us." As Liray spoke, hidden far away, Concord observation platforms adjusted their sensors. They had seen Liray's ship vanish. They had marked her as lost. Now they detected human energy signatures leaving the planet. Concern spread through Concord networks. Humans had interfered. A Concord patrol vessel changed course. Back on the human ship, the crew relaxed slightly, but tension remained. They knew they had crossed a line. No one said it aloud, but all of them understood. "This could cause trouble," one officer muttered. Reyes nodded. "Yeah, but I'd do it again." Liray listened carefully. Her people would have debated for days before acting. Humans had decided in minutes. That difference mattered. Suddenly, sensors flared again. "Unknown vessel approaching," the navigator reported. "Large. Advanced technology." Liray's expression changed. "That is a Concord patrol ship." The mood in the cockpit shifted instantly. Hands moved toward controls. Defensive systems powered up. "They might think we kidnapped you," Reyes said. "They might," Liray agreed. "They do not trust fast actions without permission." The Concord ship emerged from folded space ahead of them. It was sleek, elegant, and powerful. A symbol of control and order. A message arrived, cold and formal. Human vessel, you are in violation of Concord non-interference protocols. Power down, and prepare for inspection. The crew looked at Liray. She stood slowly, steadying herself. Allow me to speak. Reyes hesitated, then nodded. Your call. Liray opened a channel. This is Envoy Liray Voss. I confirm that the humans acted to preserve life. There was no aggression. No coercion. Silence followed. The Concord ship responded. Envoy Voss. Your loss was regretted. However, this rescue was unauthorized. Liray felt something unfamiliar rise within her. Frustration. Anger. Unauthorized, she repeated. I was dying. The Concord was weeks away. These humans reached me in days. Another pause. They took risks, Liray continued. Not for power. Not for reward. For life. The Concord ship did not answer immediately. Inside the human vessel, the crew waited, tense and quiet. Finally, the Concord ship spoke again. This matter will be reviewed. The human vessel will be escorted to neutral space. It was not approval, but it was not punishment either. As the ships moved together, Liray looked around at the humans. Their faces were tired. Their ship was damaged. They had gained nothing from this mission except trouble. Yet none of them seemed regretful. In that moment, Liray understood something important. Humanity's strength was not their weapons or technology. It was their choice to act when others waited, and the galaxy had just witnessed it. The journey to neutral space was quiet, but the silence carried weight. The Concord patrol ship moved ahead of the human vessel like a silent judge. Its smooth shape reflected starlight, perfect and controlled. Behind it, the human ship followed, patched, noisy, and alive with constant mechanical hum. Inside the human ship, the crew stayed alert. No one relaxed fully. Even small sounds made people look up. Everyone understood that one wrong move could turn a rescue into a disaster. Liray sat secured in a medical seat, watching the humans work. They spoke openly, sometimes joking softly to ease tension, sometimes arguing about technical details. There was no strict silence like on Concord ships. It was messy, but effective. She found herself studying them with new interest. Commander Reyes stood near the main display, arms crossed. She looked tired, but her eyes stayed sharp. She had led this mission without hesitation, knowing it could bring political consequences. Liray respected that. A message arrived from the Concord ship. Envoy Voss. Prepare for formal review upon arrival. Liray nodded slowly. Understood. She turned to Reyes. They will question everything. Your actions, your intentions, your technology. Reyes sighed. Figures. They may judge you harshly, Liray added. The Concord values order above compassion. Reyes met her gaze. Then maybe they need to see a different way. Neutral space was marked by a massive artificial station built long ago, before many current species even existed. It did not belong to anyone. That was the point. Here, disputes were discussed, not fought. As the ships approached, more vessels appeared. Observers, diplomats, security craft. Word had spread quickly. The human ship docked under strict monitoring. Concord officials arrived soon after, tall figures in smooth robes, faces calm and unreadable. They moved with grace and confidence, surrounded by soft light fields. Liray stepped forward to meet them. Envoy Voss, said the lead official. You were presumed lost. I was stranded, Liray replied evenly. Presumed lost is not the same. A slight pause followed. The humans violated protocol. They saved my life, Liray said. That matters. The officials turned their attention to the human crew. Scans ran over them. Data flowed silently. Commander Reyes stood straight, hands visible, calm but unafraid. You interfered without authorization, the official said. Why? Reyes did not hesitate. Because someone asked for help. A murmur spread among observers. That is not a sufficient legal reason, the official replied. It was sufficient moral reason, Reyes answered. Lyrae noticed several Concord observers shift slightly. Humans spoke of morality openly, without layers of diplomacy. It was dangerous. It was honest. The review began. Questions followed, one after another. Why did humans respond so quickly? Why did they risk their ship? Why did they ignore Concord rules? The humans answered simply. We could reach her. She was alone. We don't leave people to die if we can help. Some Concord members looked confused. Others looked uncomfortable. One official spoke sharply. This behavior could destabilize interstellar balance. Reyes raised an eyebrow. Saving one life destabilizes your balance? Silence. Lyrae stepped forward. The balance was already broken when outdated maps placed my ship in danger. That statement caused visible tension. Behind the scenes, something else was happening. Other species watching the review shared recordings. Quiet messages passed between distant systems. Many had lost ships before, waiting for official approval that came too late. Many had accepted loss as necessary. Humans had not. The review dragged on for hours. The Concord officials argued among themselves in private channels. Protocol demanded punishment. Reality suggested something else. Finally, the lead official spoke again. Envoy Voss, you may return to Concord space. The humans will be observed. Reyes crossed her arms. Observed for what? Being decent? For being unpredictable? The official replied. Reyes smiled slightly. Fair. Lyrae felt relief, but also concern. Observation could turn into restriction quickly. As the meeting ended, Lyrae was given a private moment with the human crew. I owe you my life, she said simply. That is not a phrase my people use lightly. Reyes shrugged. Glad you're alive. Lyrae hesitated, then continued. The Concord will study this event carefully. Some will fear you more. Others will reconsider. Good. Reyes replied. Fear isn't always bad. Sometimes it makes people pay attention. Before leaving, Lyrae looked back at the human ship. Its hull was scarred. Its systems were strained. Yet it had crossed storms, politics, and risk without hesitation. As her transport departed, she made a decision. She would not file a neutral report. She would file an honest one. Days later, in Concord chambers far away, Lyrae presented her findings. Humans are not reckless, she said. They are responsive. They act where others wait. This makes them dangerous only to systems that value rules over lives. The chamber reacted strongly. Some agreed. Some protested. Debate spread like wildfire. Meanwhile, the human ship returned home. The crew expected punishment or restrictions. Instead, they were met with quiet approval and many unanswered questions. Human leaders listened carefully to their report. They might watch us closely now, one advisor said. Reyes nodded. Let them. Back in Concord space, smaller species whispered among themselves. If humans would rescue an alien envoy without permission, what else would they do? Would they defend others? Would they intervene again? Would they change the galaxy? The idea spread quietly, like a spark in dry grass. Lyrae watched these changes from afar. She realized something important. Humanity did not seek to lead. They simply refused to ignore suffering. And in a galaxy built on careful distance, that refusal was revolutionary. The consequences of the rescue were only beginning to unfold. The weeks after the rescue did not bring peace. They brought attention. Human space filled with unfamiliar signals. Conquered observation probes appeared at the edges of human systems, quiet and watchful. Official messages arrived with careful words and hidden warnings. Humanity was no longer just a curiosity. They were now a question the galaxy could not ignore. On Earth, leaders argued. Some feared consequences. Others believed the rescue had shown who humans truly were. Commander Reyes returned to her duties, but her name spread far beyond military reports. To some, she was reckless. To others, she was proof that humans acted when it mattered. She did not enjoy the attention. She was just doing her job, Reyes told her crew. Helping someone in trouble should not be special, but the galaxy did not see it that way. In Concord space, Lyrae Voss faced her own storm. Her report caused deep division. Older members argued for stricter control of humans. Younger species questioned long-held rules. Protocol failed, Lyrae said again and again. Humans filled the gap. Some accused her of emotional involvement. Others quietly thanked her. Then the real test came. A border system far from Earth sent out a distress signal. A civilian convoy was trapped near a collapsing star path. The region was unstable. Concord rescue fleets were days away. The signal reached many ears, including humans. This time, there was no lone envoy. There were hundreds of lives. The Concord debated. Time slipped away. Humans did not wait. 3 human ships launched within hours. Not warships, rescue vessels, medical teams on board, engineers ready to improvise. When Concord sensors detected them, protests followed. "You are not authorized," the Concord warned. The human response was short. "People are dying." The rescue zone was chaos. Space twisted with violent energy waves. Ships struggled to hold position. Debris drifted like silent threats. Human pilots flew into it anyway. They worked together without perfect plans. One ship stabilized damaged hulls. Another evacuated the injured. The third held position as a shield, taking damage to protect others. It was not clean. It was not perfect. It worked. When Concord fleets finally arrived, the worst was over. Lives were saved. Ships remained intact. And the galaxy had seen it again. This time, there was no single envoy to speak. There were hundreds of survivors from many species. They spoke instead. They came first. They did not ask what we were. They just helped. Pressure built inside the Concord. Rules designed for stability now looked like excuses for delay. An emergency council was called. Lyrae stood before them once more. "You asked what humans would do," she said. "Now you know. Now you know." The council voted narrowly. A new status was created. Humans would be recognized as independent responders, not bound by Concord command, but acknowledged and protected when acting to preserve life. It was not full membership. It was something new. Humanity accepted with surprise and caution. They did not celebrate loudly. They simply continued building ships better suited for rescue, exploration, and support. Commander Reyes watched new crews train. Mixed teams now, humans alongside other species who trusted them. One day, Lyrae visited Earth openly. This time, there were no hidden observers. No secret signals. She walked under open sky, breathing air heavy with sound and movement. Reyes met her at a quiet landing site. "You caused trouble," Reyes said with a faint smile. Lyrae returned it. "So did you." They stood watching human ships lift into the sky, carrying supplies and hope beyond their world. "The galaxy is changing," Lyrae said. "Because you chose action." Reyes shook her head. "Because we chose not to look away. Far away, on worlds that once felt forgotten." Distress signals were sent, with new hope. Someone might answer, and often. That someone was human. Humanity did not conquer the stars. They responded to them, and in doing so, they earned something far harder than fear or power. They earned trust. In a galaxy built on careful distance and endless debate, humans became known for a simple truth. When trouble came, they showed up. Every time.